Hey, Bastish B here for 64K and welcome to another episode of Opening the Shinies. And welcome back to another episode of Opening the Shinies. I've got another package here. This is another Commodore 64 Blowout. I very rarely buy games online or buy games ever, just stuff I find thrifting, but every once in a while I get one of these from the Retro Cavern. It's a really cool place in the UK. They got like a really great selection of 8 and 16-bit computer games, so definitely check them out. Anyway, I decided to pick this one up, and here it is. Quite a lot of games in here. I think there's about 10 or so games, and I think a magazine if I remember correctly. I honestly don't remember what I even ordered. It's been a little while, so let's start checking it out. Okay, so I got everything set up here. Let's start checking them out. First up is Nightbreed, the action game. So this was made by Ocean, as you can see. This is obviously based on the movie by Clive Barker that came out in, I would say, 1989. This game came out in 1990, and the movie's pretty cool. It's, you know, it had a lot of production problems and all that kind of stuff, but I kind of liked it. When I saw it back in the day, I've never rewatched it though. Anyway, this game's kind of underrated. It's got really nice graphics, kind of like a side-scrolling action game, some light puzzle elements. This is the cassette version, so let's check what's inside. Pretty cool. Also got the instruction manual. All these games in this box though are all Commodore 64 games, there's no other ones. So give Nightbreed a go if you haven't. It's kind of hard to get into, so that might be a bit of a deterrent, but it's still a pretty fun game. And next is Little Computer People by Activision. This came out in 1985. It's made by David Crane. You know, he did Ghostbusters and Pitfall and a whole bunch of other cool stuff for Activision. So if you've never played this before, it's kind of like The Sims, but it came out in 1985. It's a weird game where you control a little dude around your house and you just get him to do stuff. It's kind of strange, it's kind of weird to explain, but if you know what The Sims is like, then this is like a precursor to that. And I've never owned an original copy of this, so I've never actually read the instructions for this game. There we are, this is the cassette version. I only had a bootleg on disc, so the instructions are usually hidden as usual with these old clamshells. Yeah, here it is. Check them out. Discover the Little Computer People. Wow. So this is what the instructions look like. Anyway, I'm going to be reading this over. It looks quite cool. Probably find out a whole lot of stuff I never actually even knew you could do in this game. This is going to be fun. Going to have to replay this game now and maybe discover some new things I never knew about it. And next is The Way of the Exploding Fist. So I already have this game, or I already had this game. So just before I moved to this new place, I actually found this game in one of my Commodore 64 boxes, and I was looking at it again and getting all nostalgic because I haven't played it in quite a while. And when I moved here, I've unpacked all the Commodore 64 stuff, and this game is nowhere to be found, which is super disappointing, because if I really have to think about it, this was the first game I ever got, a bought game from a store, and so it's very nostalgic for me. I always thought Bruce Lee was the first one we got, but if I really have to think about it, Bruce Lee was the second game we got bought, but Way of the Exploding Fist was the original, and that copy's nowhere to be found. I don't understand what happened to it. It's really weird. It could possibly be buried at the bottom of some other box, but I've unpacked almost everything and I wouldn't have put it randomly somewhere, so I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I got this. This is an excellent versus fighting game by Melbourne House if you've never played it. There's some of the moves. It's like International Karate, although this came out first. So International Karate could be seen as a bit of a copy of this game. It's got great music as well, just like International Karate. And this is the cassette version. Obviously, these are all PAL cassette versions. If you notice over here, it's got the PAV loader loading system. So when I first got this game, we had a real problem trying to load it into our cassette drive. We had to play it and then it would stop, and then we had to rewind the cassette slightly and press play again, and it would load a little bit more information, and then it would stop and we had to rewind it and load a little bit more information. The first time we loaded this game, it probably took about 20 to 30 minutes to get it all the way to the end, which was crazy. I don't know why. The Pavloader thing was didn't really work on my cassette player the first time, and then the next time we loaded the game, it worked perfectly without any issue. So kind of weird. I'm not sure what the reason was for that. Anyway, this is a great game. If you've never played it, check it out. And next we got a game called Thrust. So this was by Firebird. This is released on a budget label. You see there, £1.99. That's the old budget label. This is the cassette version again. If you've never played this, this is pretty cool. I did not like this game when I originally played it, my bootleg copy in the 80s, when I initially loaded it up. It's because it had vector graphics, and I wasn't a fan of vector graphics as a kid, not initially, and so this game just put me off immediately. And I had a friend who used to come over and play games also, and we played F-15 Strike Eagle, which is obviously vector graphics, and he absolutely loved that game, and I was like, I don't like the graphics. But after a while it kind of grew on me, and then I revisited Thrust again on one of my bootleg discs, and I started playing it, and I actually started playing it, and I realized how much fun it is. It's one of these like kind of gravity games where you pick stuff up and it's all about inertia. If you like those kind of games, kind of like Lunar Lander or something like that, just a variation on it. It's really well made. The stages are composed really well. It's got some good music as well. Definitely check this one out. It's a budget game, but damn is it pretty good. And next we got a game called The Staff of Karnath. This is released by Ultimate Play the Game. They ended up becoming rare, if you don't know that. Anyway, this is one of the Sir Arthur Pendragon games, part of that series. It's like an isometric adventure game with slight puzzle and action elements. I used to have an original copy of this game, and I think I sold it at some point. Big mistake. Anyway, I've re-got it, which is cool. It's really good condition again. Here we are, we got the cassette over there, instruction manual. I like the fact that it shows you features, what this game features, and it's like cartoon quality, fine scrolling, 3-dimensional scenario, amazing animation. It's got axes, apparently it's got ogres, it's got skulls. They list every single thing that's in this game. It's hilarious. We've already bought the game, so you don't need to tell us this. Maybe put that in the advertisement. But anyway, super cool. Glad to have this one again. And next this is RK Plus, or International Karate Plus. If you don't know, this is the sequel to International Karate, which was kind of almost a clone game of the Way of the Exploding Fist we just looked at, but excellent in its own right. So this is the sequel. This is even better. This has 3-on-3 fighting, which is so different from anything else that was out there. It's made by System 3, the guys that did The Last Ninja and Myth and Flimbo's Quest and all that kind of stuff. And here we are. In my opinion, this is the best versus fighting game on the Commodore 64. You know, it's a toss-up between this, Exploding Fist, and the original International Karate. All three of those are top quality, but I think this one just beats them all out in the end. Got a Zap Sizzler up there, and this is the cassette version again. There we are. This game was programmed by Archer McLean. If you don't know who he is, he did that excellent Commodore 64 shoot 'em up Drop Zone. If you've never played that, you really should. And it's got some great music as well. And next, we got this game, Antiriad. The real name of this game is The Sacred Armor of Antiriad. This is a re-release. It was originally released by Palace Software. This is re-released by Silverberg. You can see there, $1.99. It's another budget game, re-release. This is the cassette version. If you've never played this game, it's kind of like a flip screen kind of action adventure game. You gotta find this armor and equip it. You gotta defend your planet from these aliens, or stop these aliens from taking over. There's the armor you gotta get gives you like abilities to fly and all that kind of stuff and shoot stuff up. Very underrated. So yeah, as a look out for these other Silverbird adverts here. You got Night Gunner, Skateboard Joust, Hopper Copper, Rebel Star 2, that's a cool strategy game. These other games I'm not actually that familiar with, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I've seen any of those before, except Rebel Star 2. And next, we got Hunter's Moon by Thalamus. I've been wanting to get an original copy of this for so long. It's always just kind of been out of my grasp. It's usually kind of expensive, generally speaking. So anyway, I just decided what the heck, and I got it. So finally got it. This is released by Thalamus. They did like so many great kind of shoot 'em up games, you know, like Sanxion and Delta and all that kind of stuff. And this is the cassette version, as per usual. This game's got really excellent music. If you've never played it, you kind of jump through dimensions or galaxies trying to find your way home, and you gotta blast up aliens along your way. You're trying to find your route. You can choose wherever you go. Kind of hard to explain this game. It's very unique. Definitely check this one out. It's quite excellent. This version that I've got here is in immaculate condition. Very impressed. And next, this is a compilation. It's called The Best of Beyond. If you don't know who Beyond are, they're kind of a UK software company from the 80s. They made a lot of really unique games. You know, if you loaded up a game from Beyond, and as soon as you started it, you kind of got the vibe of what it was. It was very unique to them. You know, you knew it was a Beyond game, just like if you loaded up something from Epix, for example, you knew it was an Epix game. It just had that kind of vibe to it. Anyway, this has got some fantastic games. Some of these I haven't played since the 80s, so I vaguely remember them, but I really want to try them again. The ones that I vaguely remember are PSR Warrior and Quake -1. I believe this was a tank, like inside a tank game, and this was like just an action game. Obviously, we're going to revisit these games. I'll show some footage here as I'm talking so you know what they actually look like. I'm really looking forward to trying those two out again, because I just want to try them out and remember what they were. But the other two on the other side, Enigma Force and Shadowfire, I've actually got those already separately. I've picked them up in previous episodes here, so I've actually got those. Those are really good strategy action games if you've never played them. And this actually comes with the instructions. If you looked at one of my previous episodes of opening the Shinies, I think I got Enigma Force or Shadowfire didn't come with the instructions. I was kind of disappointed because it's one of the reasons why I bought it. Anyway, this comes with the instructions. I can see them there for everything, which is super cool. The cassette version as well, 2 games on each side. This is a pretty unique compilation. I might feature it in Compilation Nation episode at some point because it's really worth checking out. And before we look at the last game here, I just got a magazine I also got. And this is an issue of Game Fan. This is from 1993. If you don't know what Game Fan is, it's a US based magazine. It's a multi-format magazine. They covered everything: Genesis, Neo Geo, 3DO, Lynx, Super Nintendo, etc, etc. But what I always loved about this magazine, I've mentioned this in previous episodes, is the coverage of Japanese import games, which nobody else was doing. Not to the degree that this magazine did it anyway. And the format and the layout of this magazine was always so impressive. I just loved it. They really took the detail and made everything look super cool. That's Landstalker there, really good game. And I just love it. Oh, here's an advert for Hard Target, the Jean-Claude movie. You can tell this is from the 90s. It's a cool John Woo movie, by the way. Make sure you watch the European version though. The US version has got tons of stuff edited out of it, which is super annoying. Or the Japanese Laserdisc, I know that's obscure, but that's the most complete version of that movie. Anyway, Hard Target anybody. Super good magazine. I've been collecting these slowly over the last couple of years, and tons of good information in here too. And I saved this game for last because it's at the bottom of the box, but also it's huge. Look how big this box is. Holy moly, this is the Spirit of the Stones. I remember playing this game vaguely when I originally got my Commodore 64. I don't remember much about it. I just thought it was pretty unique, but without instructions I was kind of just completely lost in this game. It's kind of like an action adventure-y kind of thing, almost an RPG. I would have to like play it again to familiarize myself with it. Came out in 1984. This is released by Commodore, so that's interesting. Let's check what's in this thing. You got the Spirit of the Stones. It's like a guard. This is like an advert for the British countryside. Yeah, this is actually legit. This is like a travel guide. This looks like some sort of copy protection, or it's a competition or something. This has got a lot of weird stuff. Holy moly. Check out this thing. I've heard about this. I've heard people talk about it. This is actually the story of the game, so you can read it and you can familiarize yourself with the world. I think that's super cool. I love the way they add that to games. And for once, this is actually the disc version, not the cassette version. I didn't realize that either. I just wanted the game. And there's a few other little things in there, but yeah, Spirit of the Stones. I'm really looking forward to trying this again and kind of exploring it. It should be pretty fun. If anybody's played this extensively, you know, maybe just let me know what I'm in for. And that's all the games. Done. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Opening the Shinies. I hope you had a good time. I'm Bastish B. If you can like and subscribe, that'll be greatly appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.